Yeah, no, that's it. Like once you release music, it's not yours anymore. You know, it's everyone else's to interpret, and I feel like it feels like that once it goes away. It doesn't even look or feel the same. It's doing its thing out there. You're just the vessel.
We're all just anomaly, low probability, organic being floating in the eternal mist of time and
joy and experience.
Hello and welcome to the Mr. Bill podcast. My name is Robert Fumo, coming straight out of Bali, Indonesia. I'm on holiday right now, but I am still editing podcasts. We have a great guest for you today. We have, guess who? Oscar Davey Wright. But guess what? That's his real name. His stage name is Opiuo. Yes, we got Opiuo. If you are unfamiliar with him, you must have had your head in the sand or under a rock. He is a producer's producer. The guy travels headlining shows all over the world, and we got him for a chat. So a little bit of news on Opiuo. He is going to play Red Rocks with a full orchestra in May. So if you're in Colorado, get to Red Rocks, find out what date that is in May. Full orchestra, Opiuo, Red Rocks. Also just had an album drop this past August. Check that out. Tons of great tunes on it. Bunch of new EPs coming this year. Also keep your ears open for those. Mr. Bill just signed with Prism Talent Agency, so he's going to have a ton of shows this year also. So go to MrBillsTunes.com/tour, and there should be a link to Band is in Town, and you can set up a notification system that will tell you when Mr. Bill is in your area, and you can go see Mr. Bill play. Also, MrBillsTunes.com is one of the one-stop shop resources for music producers trying to upgrade their skill with the quickness. Thousands of hours of tutorials, thousands of hours of live streams, great content, monthly subscription on the cheap. So enjoy the podcast. This is Opiuo.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you are listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you're 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 listening to the Mr. Bill podcast. Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast. Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you got listening to the Mr.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast. Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Cool, dude. Well, hey, thanks for doing this, man. Welcome to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Pleasure.
You've definitely been an extremely requested guest for a while now, so I'm glad that we're finally getting around to this. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yep. It's early morning over here. Been up for a few hours, been getting up pretty early these days with children and just life. But yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, you're awake at 6 a.m. That's insane. I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning, and then I went back to sleep until like 12 p.m. or something like that.
The reality of like someone just saying, oh, yeah, get up about 9, just like even imagining that nowadays is crazy. Like on the road, we'll get in at 4 or 5 after a show and we'll sleep as long as we can. And that's just imaginary numbers because you're kind of on the road. It doesn't actually matter. But when you're at home, oh man, I can't remember sleeping in for a very long time. The joy.
Is that just because of like having kids or whatever, or is that...
Yeah, I guess both. It's kids. I like being up in the morning. It's. I think I'm pretty productive. I'm a morning person, and then I'm also a very, very late night person. Like if I'm still up at 2 a.m. and no one else is around and there's no distractions. But that doesn't happen very often anymore at home, which is fine. But during the day, there's no one here. My studio's at home, so it's fine. But yeah, I guess my body clock's completely changed now, which is actually good because I've spent a lot of time in North America. So 6 a.m. is like 11 where you are? Where are you?
I'm in Atlanta, so 6 a.m. I think for you was like 2 p.m. for me or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, okay. puts you at your like most productive at around.
That's
like
when you got up.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, so today's been a weird one for me. I just slept for 24 hours because I did like a 2-day session a few days before this, which is like something that I try not to do very often, but I've for like the longest time suffered from just chronic insomnia. And some days like I'll write music or whatever for like however long, and then I'll go try and sleep, and I'll just be laying in bed for like 4 or 5 hours, and I'm just like I can tell it's like not going to happen. So I just go, fuck it. I just feel like I'm wasting time. So I just get up and start working again, and then just go like, that 4 or 5 hours that I was laying in bed sort of counts as a sleep, although it doesn't. It's like,
is it like when do you know you've been awake that whole time, or do you ever fall in and out of that, like unsure whether you fell asleep?
No, it's literally just like a 4 or 5 hour period of just laying there with my eyes closed, sort of thinking, and then I'll just get back up and just start working again. Yeah, super unhealthy, and definitely something that I'm like trying to work on. And I've seen doctors about it a ton of times, and they've prescribed me all sorts of shit for it. Like trazodone is one of the things, and that they've prescribed me for it before. But if I take that shit, like it'll put me to sleep, but then the next day I'll wake up, I'll be super fucking groggy. And it takes me until like 6 or 8 p.m. or something until I feel normal. And then a couple hours later, it's like time to take it again and go back to sleep. So it's the worst. It just doesn't make much sense. That's a bad loop. Yeah, it's a shit.
Have you ever tried like, meditating or other things to still, is it your mind that you feels awake? I definitely suffer a bit from it. Like if I've got lots on or I'm anxious about something, I'm definitely much less able to go to sleep. But sometimes I fall asleep really easy, and then I wake up 2 hours later and I'm like up for hours.
It's I've tried meditating and like slowing my mind down a bunch. I've also tried exercising and just wearing myself out, and all sorts of other shit. It's really just hit and miss. I don't really understand what it is, but sometimes like my meditation shit is like I've never been able to get the hang of it, to be honest. Like I can definitely sit there and be like, all right, I'm meditating. But as Sam Harris puts it, I just feel like I've been hijacked by the most boring person alive whenever I try to do that. It's just like my brain going like, oh man, I should update my credit card details there. Oh fuck, I gotta schedule a haircut. Oh man, fuck, I wonder if my front door's locked. Like just the dumbest shit, Like, oh man, my toaster, it's got like lots of crumbs in it. I should probably go empty that shit.
Yeah.
Like, just stupid shit.
It's about like being okay with that shit though, isn't it? Like you never don't think about it. Like with me and Naji have jumped back into it, and a friend put it really well that it was like you never actually clock it. There's never right or wrong, but it's just like when you are thinking about those things, you're kind of fine with it. You're like, oh yeah, and then because you're so fine with it, you just sort of move on and stop being like, I've got to go do it. I don't know. It's not for everyone, but it definitely can help. I feel like stages in life, it's really beneficial, and then other times it's just almost impossible.
Right. I suppose it's more about just being more of an observer of the human experience or the conscious experience rather than being completely absent to the fact that we are literally just having that experience. Because most of the time you're constantly just doing shit, and your default underlying emotional feeling is that you're in control of it all, and that you're the one who is like the creator of all of these actions and thoughts and feelings. But when you sit there and meditate, you realize that you're not at all. They're just like randomly coming at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I suppose the activity is really just sitting there and being like, just fucking trying to watch them all come at you and not really react to them, but rather just observe, right?
Yeah, that is definitely observing it from afar too, almost seeing it from somewhere else. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I took some questions from Twitter, and one of the ones I got, and this is actually one that I'm really interested in, and I think a lot of people are interested in, and feel free to not talk about it if you don't want to, but someone was asking about your hearing damage. Is that something you're comfortable talking about publicly or not really?
Yeah, no, I am now. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so from, my understanding, and I might be wrong about this, is that you can't hear out of one ear almost completely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So totally deaf in one ear, or you can hear a little bit?
It's like if I'm on a plane and I put my finger in my ear and then I take it out, I'll hear a tiny bit of come back. That's how deaf.
Okay.
So it's basically, you could never use it for anything. If I lost hearing in the other ear, I'd pretty much be deaf. And I think my brain now has adapted to that in the sense that if I got hearing back in that side, it would be so excruciatingly loud.
Right.
Because it's just trying to, obviously the noise floor's got much higher.
Right.
Sorry, much lower, yeah.
Is it at the point where, like, if you put a hearing aid in that, like, could a hearing aid do anything for it? Or right, okay, so it's bad enough that a hearing aid wouldn't.
So it's conductive hearing loss. So basically, from the outside to the cochlea on the inside. So they used to test my hearing via the bone. You can put a little
the ossicle
headpiece thing. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, so I could technically get some form of a hearing aid that maybe those ones that attach onto there.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always just been with the mindset that I haven't always been like that. It was a very long process to get to that point. And just yesterday or the day before, someone was visiting and a new friend and asked me about it because she was going through a hearing loss thing and a lot of stress with the idea of it and the ringing that comes with it because suddenly you've got nothing coming in and everything else. But yeah,
so there's no auditory masking there to like mask the ringing.
No, and the ringing from when it started.
It's neurological, isn't it? It's not actually physical.
No, it can be physical. I mean, when you lose hearing from having your hair's bent over, isn't it like, if you around too much loud noise? Mine is probably not as physical because it came about after a major surgery for my ear, which I can go into for sure. But I think, when it's from loud sound, isn't it the damaged nerves that are constantly sending signal?
I mean, I think I believe the hairs are the like transducers, like in the same way that the coil around the magnet is the transducer in the microphone. Or actually, would the hair be more like the diaphragm, like the paper bit that's at the top of the microphone?
Yeah, no, it receives exactly. Yeah, and
then I guess the ossicle, the brain, I think would be the coil bit that vibrates, and then that's what gets transferred. Yeah, okay. So why does it cause?
Yeah, I think that, from what I was understanding, and I hadn't looked into it a very long time, but when it first came about, this was 16 years ago now, and I was asking one of the surgeons, I think, and they were just saying it's just basically like a circle. On the outside, you have the high frequency hairs all the way to the low frequency hairs, and when they get damaged from sound, they've been beaten around so much, they just end up either bending over or being in a funny position that does it, but. And then it constantly sends that signal to the brain. Not in my case so much. I feel like I had fluid behind my eardrums a lot when I was a kid. So I had grommets, which are little tubes that go through your eardrum. And they would drain the fluid and release the pressure. And then as it went on, late high school years, someone who I was seeing in New Zealand noticed that I had a cyst pushing on my eardrum. And said it's better off just leaving it. Bad advice. And then when I got to Australia in 2005, I went and saw a surgeon maybe 6 months later, so 2006. And they said I have a cyst behind the eardrum and they need to operate straight away. Very scary conversation. And basically said that they need to drill through the back of the behind the ear, lift up the ear, and go through the mastoid cavity, which is just a bunch of air cells, to the behind the eardrum. And what had happened is the eustachian tube that goes to the back of your nose never developed or got blocked when I was younger. So as that closed, the air that's trapped behind the eardrum gets absorbed by the skin, sucks the eardrum back, and where the eardrum touches the cavity wall can grow a cyst. That was in my case what he thought had happened. And it's a benign cyst, but it just keeps growing. So they come in, remove it, close it all up. The first operation was like 7 hours long, which was a lot longer than they thought it was going to be, and there was a lot of it in there. And it had started to grow around my face nerve, your tongue nerves and everything are in there as well, so they've got to push them out of the way. So I have this really weird feeling on the side of my face and slight numbness on the side of my tongue.
Still to this day, you have that?
Yeah, it's a sensation. I don't know how strong it is. I've got used to it, I guess. That was my main fear was, if they did warn me, if it's growing through that nerve, they might have to cut the nerve, and that's permanent face damage. And I would take a little bit of hearing loss over that at the time. So it was really scary. And they, put the sensors on your head and everything, because you can sometimes wake up in those surgeries, so they can see that your brain is feeling the pain, and it's really full on. And yeah, for 2 weeks after that, I had to really figure out how to get my balance back. Was a big one. Walking was quite weird at first. And then the ringing was just absolutely insane. And I put it down to more the amount of, obviously intrusion in there, but also the drugs that I would have had to have taken to be asleep for 7 hours and everything else that I had to do in that time. I didn't really want to try and figure out exactly why. I didn't want to have a reason. It was just more, this was the situation. But I had to spend, 6 months probably with white noise on my stereo in my room to sleep, or try and sleep, or call my mum at 2 a.m. and talk to her for 2 hours just to take my mind off it. I already had hearing damage, and it got worse over time. And that's when I knew that, my drum wasn't working properly. But after that surgery, it was, pretty much done. They did say at the time maybe they could do something about it. I'd chosen to do a lesser of an operation. There was one which I've had now. So about 4 years later, I ended up, maybe 6 years later. It kept coming back. Every year I'd go back in, have to have another surgery. As I started touring more in 2009-10 time, I'd have to pick a time when I could go and really, take 2 or 3 months off afterwards, not say anything, have another surgery, get it done again. Until later on, I met another surgeon who was an amazing specialist, and he started seeing him, and he was like, we need to do the big surgery, which is basically they go in, move your eardrum, create a bowl kind of inside there, and have access to your middle ear without having to go in through the invasive surgery of pulling your ear back and going back in through, and through your skull. And that means that what I have now is you can see straight into your middle ear, and they can see if there's anything in there, and they can clean it out. It's not a cyst because there's nowhere for it to grow. It's more just skin and debris and things like that. Doesn't mean that I can't go swimming because of it goes straight to my middle ear, so I would get extreme, what is it? Not vertigo, but just, I've had it where I have to clean it out with peroxide, and sometimes I haven't warmed it up enough and it's freezing cold, and it's like the worst seasickness you can imagine instantly. So you have no idea where it's up or down, and you feel like you've gone green. It's like this weird sensation. It actually feels like that. So yeah, I have to be careful of that. But yeah, I just don't go swimming. Risk of dirty water or that.
So when you shower, are you just really careful to not get water in it?
Yeah, I mean, shower water is pretty clean normally. I mean, I don't.
So the swimming is more about like water being unclean than it is about getting water in there.
Yeah, and also both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in the ocean, and even if I had people like just put an earplug in, and if I put an earplug in and I got smashed by a wave, the earplug came out. Cold water went in, I'd just drown. I wouldn't know what's going on.
True.
And then the other side of it is, I can go into hang out, but it's kind of like this funny thing that a lot of people would think that's it's the end of time. I can't go swimming again.
Right.
But it's like it's just part of it, I guess. It
just becomes the new normal.
Who
for
I
sure.
am. Exactly. And I've had friends in the past, which was probably a good experience to witness, who have decided to stop doing music through really bad ringing, and it really affected them to the point where they lost their identity and became a shell of who they were. And that was something I just didn't want to happen. So I just always treated it as my journey, and maybe it made me more encouraged to do this,
Yeah, I remember I asked you about this. I want to say it was in like 2012 or some shit. We were hanging out at some show you were doing in Sydney, and I asked you about it, and you were like, oh man, fuck it. Like there's people who are disabled who run 100-meter sprints faster than anyone I know with 2 legs. And I was like, yeah, that's a great way to think about it. It's like, who gives a fuck? It's like, there's disabled people out there crushing it in all sorts of different fields, who don't have legs, who run it really fast, or who don't have arms and can fucking swim really well and shit. Like,
Yeah. And, you think, I sometimes thought of like, I was almost viewing it like if I had both my ears and I was working my hardest and trying to do my thing, and I still wasn't making the thing that I wanted, I was like, why can't I do it? But I was like, I've got one, works fucking great right now, and I'm loving what I'm doing. So it works, this system works. And I almost felt like it would be more intense having both. I had to think of the best way to do it. And it kind of became how I thought about it as well, which is, yeah.
Right. Also, as a result of being on this journey, your understanding of audiology in terms of like, you know, how the biological ear works is probably better than most producers as well. And I think having a good understanding of how the ear works also by default gives you a pretty good understanding of how microphones and speakers work.
Sure. Yeah.
How is it with doing mix downs and stuff like that? Like, where do you...
I guess I'm mixing mono.
Well, yeah, I suppose. And honestly, if you can get a good mono mix going, then I suppose
totally.
It sounds good.
I don't really notice it anymore. I do sit funny. Sometimes I kind of hold myself a certain way when I'm talking to people. I'll turn my head. I'll sit in a certain corner of a table. You know, all those things are just automatic now. But I've only had one song, I can't remember what it was, and I was listening to it, and I must have had the headphones the other way, and a noise went bang on one side, you know, on my good ear, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't remember leaving that in there, and I went back and listened, and it was panned to one side, and I'd missed it because of my ear. So it was funny, you know. But
that's actually a good strat. Like at the end, when you're like, all right, mix is good, let's go. Like put on headphones one way, listen through. Just put them on the other way, listen through again.
Yep.
Seems like it'd fix it. Or you could also put Ableton's utility on the master and hit that swap button all the time too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like that's kind of the beautiful fuck ups that are in music. You know, I kind of like it. I was like, oh, that's funny as, you know, and that part of mixing with what you've got the best you can to the point where it works. You know, you're always questioning your mixes. You're always questioning if something's good or done or all that kind of stuff. But at some point, I just, you know, maybe something else that I know of my own that sounds good and works on a system and everything. And I'm like, fuck it, that's where I'm at today, you know, and that's it. Instead of back to that thing of having every part of my hearing and everything being perfect and knowing that it's perfect and still not being able to get it, you know, or something that would bum me up. But
even with what I would consider pretty decent hearing and pretty decent like critical listening awareness and stuff like that, I still say and think that most of my mixing process is visual anyway, like looking at meters and stuff like that. And I just don't think there's any way around that. Like your ears are always just shit in terms of like you can't listen to something and be able to hear the brightness and be like -3, that's where the sub is. It's like, no fucking way. You need to look at a meter for that shit.
It's funny you say that because I do the complete opposite. I don't look at any meters ever.
Oh, really? What about like to check phase correlation, anything like that?
I mean, occasionally if I'm confused, but no, like just it's just that probably comes from the thing of like I just have to trust that ear in a way, you know, and probably would make me confused if it looked like something else was going on and I was not hearing that. And that would be, you know, it's probably stemmed from the time when I just had to go with what I had. I am now getting more into doing a bit more metering and because I'm probably more comfortable with you know my hearing and where it's been for a long time now. But at the start it was like sounds good, feels good, let's go.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of where I started as well. And then I noticed that after I started being a little bit more like when I started using meters a little more, it was just a lot faster to get a mix done. Like there'd be times where I wasn't using meters and I'd be like, fuck, this track's just not sounding done. And I'd sit on it for like 6 months and then come back to it and be like, oh, it doesn't have like enough sub or something, you know, and then it would become obvious to me after like sitting on it for so long. Now with metering and just referencing and stuff, it's your brain is, and I think especially with referencing, like not even using meters, but using other tracks and just going between the two, your brain is just especially good at playing spot the difference in going like, oh, that one's
that's
just
what
wider,
I do.
Or that one. Yeah, exactly. So that's a form of metering, I suppose.
I guess. Okay. So yeah. I A/B like I'll be, you know, a third of a way through what is likely to be the length of making the song and I'll bounce the drop 4 bars and I'll take it into QuickTime or whatever and I'll just bang it against a bunch of tunes really quickly and then I'll go back in and keep working on it. And I do that all the time. Just to almost feel like the tune as a complete thing, this is what it feels like so far. And that's definitely part of my process for sure.
Yeah. Your brain is so good at doing that. Like just listening to two things and being like, that one's brighter or that one's like bassier or that one's more
it's
wide.
instant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
the weird
I
thing's funny.
People,
I used tools early on, like a lot of spreaders and phasing and chorusing and things like that to really try and get width. without really knowing how wide things were. And a lot of people would tell me my music's really wide, but still punchy and has that kind of thing, but didn't really know. I guess for having that one ear, I was trying to make it sound wider for one ear.
Right.
It's funny.
Do you ever use just one speaker as well, or do you kind of have to have the other speaker there as well so you can like get the bounce
it.
coming off the other wall?
Yeah, and you can feel it. Like if you're in a room and you've got one speaker coming from one direction, you even with basically hearing in one ear, that's only one coming. It's totally, not all just going in here. You feel everything. It's all about the energy and about what it feels like too. And sometimes you don't know what you've heard. You feel it. That's what music is. It's such a good, a thing for feeling. And so I notice it, and when it's mainly when there's a bit of noise in the background, someone will say, hey, on this side of my bad ear, and it will bounce off a wall on this side, and I'll turn that way thinking they've said it over there. Like that's where I won't pick it up.
Right.
But, if I'm in a quiet space and someone says something, I'll know something's coming from over there too. You can really still pick it up. It doesn't have to be really good hearing. And I guess that's part of your brain adapting and your body adapting. And yeah, I guess I read lips a lot, but I don't really notice it anymore, It just becomes part of it, and it's who I am.
Yeah, I noticed, I listened to a podcast about somebody who didn't know that they had hearing loss until COVID. And then when everybody started wearing masks, they realized they couldn't hear shit. They didn't realize they were reading lips all the time until COVID.
Yeah, I guess it too, like Australians and New Zealanders speak a lot faster than Americans, so it can be
faster,
harder. Yeah,
and we slur words and we don't finish words and
imaginary things.
Yeah, exactly. We make up words and shit.
You can. Yeah, I find that Americans a lot easier to understand, but I never really had trouble with it. So it's not something I've really I don't think about it at all anymore, to be honest. Like right then, so the shape of my ears changed to the point where this AirPod was starting to fall out, and I wasn't even noticing that it was, getting further away in terms of sound or whatever. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't think about it at all anymore until like I either get asked about it or I'm in a room where I've got to really think about it. But it's not even a thing. But that's a long journey.
Yeah, I bet. Well, yeah, still interesting, I think, to hear from your perspective, because obviously, your mixes are insanely good and your music sounds insanely good. So it's just, I think it's both inspiring and interesting, for people to be like, well, fuck, I got 2 working ears and Oscar's doing this with 1 working ear. Like, I could do this.
Sure. I mean, if it's inspiring, that's great too. But it is just, like when you really get past the idea that it's all about, I guess that's the understanding of how an ear works too. It's all about what you're hearing. It's like, well, no, it's about the energy of the music, or, I guess what you've put together becomes the intention of the music too. And, all these things that are subconsciously done inside music, that is all about what you're doing at the time and how you're feeling and the choices you've made to make it what it does, what it will do. That impacts people too. And that can sound better. And, I think it's both conscious and subconscious music. It's insane. We don't fully know it.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I often think I sort of suck a lot of the life. Like my whole process, I think, is making a song, the raw initial version. I'm always like, this is sick. And then I suck all the life out of it with production shit. And then I come back to it over and over again, basically undoing all of that to make it essentially what the raw version was again, but slightly better than what the raw version initially was.
Sure.
I was chatting with Hero Bust and he said, if I don't hate it, and if I think, oh, this is fucking awesome, then he knows it's not done. And I feel like I have a very similar thing with music. Like the very first version, I'm like, this is so sick. I know it's not done at that point. Like I have to come back to it and be like, I fucking hate this song and I cannot listen to it anymore, and just be done with it. And that's when
it's funny, isn't it? Yeah, it's funny because I always, send versions around to people early on, and they'll hit me saying, I like version 1, and I'm like listening to version 1, like, no, but all these things are wrong. They're like, doesn't feel like it flows as good or something. And yeah, there's a part of that. But it's weird because if you never heard version 1, would you hate that version you've just done? There's no reference point then, and would you then be like, fuck, version 17 shit, and I'm going to make version 35? Are you always going to keep going? Or is it like, if you heard version 17 and you weren't a part of it, are you going to think it's amazing?
One thing I've espoused a lot on this podcast, and people probably get sick of hearing this theory, is that one thing I've had to get over is the fact that effort does not equal value. Like the value of music is literally just how the end user listening to it appreciates it, and they don't give a fuck about how much effort and time it took. Whereas you as a producer can throw in like 10 hours on one thing, but 1,000 hours on another thing, and you will almost always be like, the 1,000 hour thing is better than the 10 hour thing, because you know how much effort it took, and you know like how much crafting it took and how much mix work it took and how much deliberation you did over it and stuff. And therefore you're like, but this one, like I put so much effort in, and like therefore like you're so biased to liking that one more versus like something that you made in like 30 minutes that somebody isn't having some end user experience who doesn't know how much of that pain and deliberation went into it would have. And therefore, yeah, those opinions I think from other people can be really useful in that way, because they're completely removed from that bias of all that effort that you put in. Though,
yeah, and it's
also,
all, it comes down to that idea, right? Like the initial idea is what carries the whole thing. If the idea is incredible, think about some of that music from back in the day that the mix is terrible, but the idea is fucking amazing. And it's going to far outlast something that has been sculpted over 2 years, written by 140 people, all these things, and putting all this energy into it, and the essence and the core of it is not there. It'll be lasting a lot longer. I think about it a lot. My bigger songs probably have been some of the quickest to write. Not always, but sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have, I think in my top Spotify, one of them I wrote in 45 minutes in a K-hole, and the other one
so quick.
Yeah. And the other one was a song that I went back and forth with Sodown on for like over a year and a half. Like we were doing a session on it every 2 weeks for about a year and a half. So that one probably has hundreds and hundreds of hours in it. So yeah.
Are you then, it's funny, do you think about like, are you then trying to create a cool idea? Was there anything at the start? Like it's such a weird, some days you just write something and it's like you write 6 songs and one of them is just, there's something magic about it. And that's...
You write 6 songs in a day?
No.
Yeah, me either, dude.
No way. I mean, I'm good for one a day to get a really good idea out in that day for sure. And then it really varies what I do afterwards, how long it'll take. Some longer form projects will be so, you spend so much time making them trying to fit together too. So that can be part of the, if you didn't need to do that, maybe you would have probably finished it quicker. It wouldn't need to be as, reliant and matching of everything else. But yeah, no, I can get a good idea out in a day for sure. Yeah.
Like a whole song, like playable?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you, in theory, could write like 30 albums a year?
No, because I feel like there's just little spurts of inspiring time that's valuable, and then there's other times where it's like, I've got better at when I'm not feeling it that day. I don't try and go in the studio and don't force myself to do something, because I feel like that later on will feel like it might get me more distracted or more down about not being able to do it now, or hating everything I just did recently, because realistically I should have just taken time and gone and done something else, come back when I'm rocking, and then everything else you kind of do you're stoked about, whether it's quality or finished in a week or a good idea in a day or not, you're still positive about being in the studio. Whereas some days I'm like, this just isn't the day, and I'll go do something else. And there's other things. Often I'll do artwork, or I'll do other things that are beneficial to the project, but not necessarily sit there and try and be creative. Or I might mix something for a bit, and then that will get me creative. And yeah, definitely learned that over the years.
Yeah, totally. There's also like value in doing other things that aren't music as well. Like for instance, if I have to walk through my kitchen every day to get here to my studio, and the kitchen is just like organized in a weird way, or there's like shit all over the bench or something like that, and every time I see it, it just like fucks with my head a little bit. There's value in taking a day off to fix that problem if I have to walk through there every day to get to the studio as well. Though also I don't think it's necessarily healthy to think about everything in terms of what helps me make better music all the time as well. You know, like sometimes it's healthier to think about like life in other ways other than just music production, which is fucking hard because like when that's your life and that's like the entire way you make money and stuff, then obviously there's a lot of value put on that thing, and a lot of value put on the ability to be reliably doing that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It is your life, but it isn't completely you, though. You know, you have so many facets and amazing things about you that are sometimes neglected because we love what we do so much, and we put so much value on it for earning us money and giving and affording us the life we have and supporting our families and doing all that sort of stuff. But actually, most of the things that maybe benefit you that day have nothing to do with it. And I find sometimes to be able to step outside of that mindset that, okay, actually today to go to something else will be so much more beneficial to me. And then when I'm good, everything else is good, you know. It's been a good journey to learn that.
Yeah, there's a theory called compassionate selfishness where you be selfish so you can be more useful for other people. Yeah. Which I think you can think of music production and other things surrounding it a little bit in that way too, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. How's living in Byron Bay, by the way? Because I know you live there now, right?
Yeah, I live about half an hour out of Byron. It's beautiful. It's a whole different world than being on the road and being in cities. I do really miss cities and just the insane energy that they bring. But you know, raising kids in certain places in the world can have its benefits and drawbacks, and for now this is a big benefit to them just growing up in an awesome environment. And then there's times where, you know, I guess when I couldn't travel for COVID times, I just sunk myself into the property, and you know, we have 8 acres here, and it was fucking awesome. I learned to build and just learn other skills that were just great for me. I grew up on a property when I was young, and it was nice to get back to that. And then when it came back on and being able to leave and go and get injections of going to the city is really important too, because I need both. You know, I can't just live in the country but we're really fortunate. You know, this area has great food and great markets and, you know, awesome weather and things like that to live in that world. And I don't find it too hard to remove myself, and there's less distractions too, so I can sit in the studio for longer periods and you know, I do miss going to shows sometimes, but we drive to Brisbane and go to shows, you know, every month for sure.
Nice. Were you affected by the floods?
Physically here, no. The property goes down and there's a creek where the bridge goes across on the property to get out, and that doesn't really go over at all, but it did during those big floods. But no, everywhere around here did for sure. So
you got stuck on your property for a period of time?
Yeah, for a few days. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. But
that was absolutely fine compared to, you know, obviously the power was out for a couple of weeks, I think, maybe, or no reception or something. I can't really remember. But, you know, we went and helped out for a couple of days and did what we could once we could leave here. And then, yeah, it was like, it's pretty traumatic for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was fucking epic from the sounds of it. My mum, dad and brother up in Oakhurst, which is like sort of, it's in Queensland somewhere. I think it's near Harvey Bay. They got they didn't get affected by it either, but like Harvey Bay all went under and stuff, and they went down there. And my brother was literally in a boat sending me videos, just like cruising around in a boat in Harvey Bay, and there's like you can see houses and shit where he's just like cruising next to him in boats, and I was like, what the?
It's definitely changed the like baseline of people's, probably, I'm assuming, their, you know, understanding of being set for life, or like, you know, nothing can affect us here, or, you know, when you get something, you know, I've always had the feeling of like nothing's permanent, you know. I don't know where that came from or what it was, but it was always like, things are really good right now, awesome, let's make the most of it, and, you know, this might not last or whatever it is. And that can be a good feeling and also a disruptive feeling, but I kind of always felt like that for wherever I was. But yeah, it's definitely changed perspectives of where you live and why you live there and how you live there and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for a lot of people.
Yeah. I think I got that view from Spongle's Nothing Lasts, but Nothing is Lost. The great philosopher Simon Posford.
straight there.
Yep. So you're like, how many motorbikes do you have now? I remember you sent me a video a while back and you're like, oh, I got a motorbike. how's motorbike life going?
4 in the shed at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah. They're not all mine. There's a little Pee-wee 50 for Tyler. We have a CRF 110, which is like a pit bike kind of thing, and that was just everyone's for a while, and kind of Amali's sort of rides it now. And then we have an electric dirt bike, which is what me and Naji ride the most. And then I have a road bike, a Bonneville T110. It's like a 900cc road bike, which I don't get to ride much, but when I do, where we live, that's another amazing thing around here. There's just fucking incredible roads to ride. Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you mostly ride the dirt bikes and stuff around your property, or do you take them to trails?
Yeah, no, the property's big enough to have fun around here. Like when Max Ashes was staying here, we're making music, we'd just middle of the day or, in the evening or after dinner or whatever, because we could put some headlights on them, we'd just go and fucking hoon around on a couple of bikes for like half an hour and then come back to the studio and we're like reset. It was fucking awesome. It was like a full reset, and I do it a lot. Like if I'm really into something, I won't leave for the whole day, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, what am I doing? Fuck, I'm going to go outside and do something.
Mm-hmm.
I have an electric skateboard too, which is off-road thing to be able to boost around the property. It's like snowboarding because it's quite hilly and rolly and stuff, so that's sick.
Oh yeah. Did you build any sick jumps out there?
Fuck yeah, I got like 3 feet of air that time. Nah. I built a track when we first got the property, like almost 4.5 years ago, and just the upkeep of it and going away all the time was just insane. So I couldn't do it. And I go and ride a mountain bike too. I go ride. Do you still ride?
Yeah, I haven't for a bit, but when I first moved here, definitely the thought of building a little pump track out the back crossed my mind. I still haven't done it. But I need to get back into it. But I still have my bike and stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I miss it, but I don't do it for sure. And just having something small, I rode around the property a couple of times, like just different ways and going around. There's a lot of bush and then lots of more manicured grass areas. And so I went all the way around and a few times and up this really steep hill, and I was exhausted, in 20 minutes or whatever. So that was super fun, but it'd be awesome to have a track that you can ride. But the time and energy and commitment and persistence you need for something like that, it's insane, I reckon.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. There's a few of the trails that I was riding in Northern California were built over the course of like 15 years, and there's the people who upkeep them are generally the scouts. So you like donate to the scouts, and I don't know, they just keep them good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a few like on the border between New South Wales and Queensland. There's one called the Border Trails where people have just gone and made them along the fire break that goes between the border.
Mm-hmm.
And that's dope because it's just quite random. Then there's some really proper like mini ski field, different coloured runs properly run by a group and volunteers, and you pay your fee every year and stuff like that as well, which is really cool. But I'm nowhere near as hardcore as them.
Yeah, trail building's a whole ass thing, man. Like you need to get out there with machinery, and then the upkeep is definitely a weekly, if not more often, job. And you got to like every time it rains go out and like fix it and shit.
Totally.
Especially if people are riding when it's raining.
Where we live, it's like in summer because it's a wetter season in summer here, and it's dry in winter. So it's warm, humid, sunny, and rains a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So everything grows like crazy fast. You if you wanted to keep your lawn super nice, you'd mow them every week, easily smashing, this far every week. So having trails and things like that just would be insane.
Damn, yeah.
I do love it though. I just love getting out and doing for something physical. It's awesome for you.
Oh, definitely. How do you keep 8 acres of grass under control?
At the moment, Naji mows it because she's not working full-time. And in full-time world, we would pay someone when I was away a lot to mow it. And then during COVID, we obviously pulled everything back and I was doing it again. I did it at the start, loved it. And then it got a lot. We've got a mini tractor with a mower underneath it, just boost around on that. It's very satisfying, and it turns it from this like big sort of piece of land into this like mini botanical gardens that feels amazing to be on, and you know, really fills up the I guess just the appreciation cup of like where you live or what you've got to use for that period of time. It's awesome.
Someone on Twitter was asking how you came up with your name and also how you come up with track titles.
Well, my name came about, I was DJing random. So I grew up around festivals, and when I was really young, probably, I don't even know, you know, primary school age, so maybe 8, maybe 10 or something, there'd be festivals on my parents' land where I grew up. And as I sort of grew a bit more, I started DJing like maybe at the beer festival in town when I was 13 or 14 or something. I can't remember the age exactly, probably about 14. And they just put me down as Oscar, and then I played the opening set at this festival probably a year later, and they put it as Oscar, and I was like, I need a name. And I was at school making a CD cover, and I just wrote this in and just looked really balanced. I don't know how I came up with it exactly. And it kind of just looked cool. And I nearly changed it thinking people wouldn't be able to spell it, or because it had no, like, you know, relatable meaning to someone who didn't know without me telling them, then it needed to have that. And then as it kind of grew, it grew its own meaning, I guess, you know, through people being able to refer to it as something that sounds like that, you know, sounds like itself, in terms of the music style and things like that. I guess it worked in my favor too, because it's not really like anything else. But at the time, I had no idea. But I would have been 14 or 15. I probably was trying to write opium in on a CD cover, and it just looked, I fucked it up, and it looked funny, you know, or something. I don't remember exactly how I got there.
Right.
But yeah, it would have been a high school, like, what's that, 20 something years ago.
Right.
It's funny when you think how long. But yeah, that just kind of stuck, and I never took it seriously, which was great at the start, to be able to make music and play random sets and sometimes play some of my own music, you know, in the very early days, in the late high school years, and not treat it like I had these dreams of wanting to do it and wanting to have my friends fly around the world and come see me play and do all these kind of things. But it was never like, if I don't get to that thing, it's not going to be, you know, what I wanted it to be. It was just a great thing I loved to do. And track names are the same kind of thing, that they are meant to have, they're meant to be just something random that's either someone said something, or, you know, it just suited it somehow, or now it's like I'll just imagine what words come to mind when I hear the song, you know. It's kind of how it goes, just very random.
Yeah, there's a few.
No intent, not too much intention too behind it, that actually, it's almost like up to you to create what it is. It's not like I'm saying this for this reason. It's just like, this sounds kind of funny and cool or whatever, and that's it.
Yeah,
you know, it really has never been any more than that.
Right. Like, for instance, Buff Marvin. Who's Buff Marvin?
Fuck knows, man. It's kind of like, I think it was a saying, like, when we were young, calling someone a bit of a Buff Marvin or something, if they're real muscly. I don't know. It could have been that. It's like, it's so random from my backlog of experiences in my life that just pops into your head and off you go, you know. There's no, I have no idea.
What about Axolotl Throttle?
That was my friend Ruben. He's an amazing poet and an MC and writer, and he just one day was listening to some music or something, and he either suggested it or he'd said it about something, and I asked if I could use it. That one came from there.
What about Chubby Putty, the one I remixed?
It sounded kind of fat and chunky, the song, I guess. I don't know. That was with Beats Antique, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Patchouli Dump Truck? That's another good one.
There's that sample in the middle about, like, what does it say? I can't remember. I don't know. It's like, it's kind of meant to just have some humor in there that removes you from the music too, you know, like, because it almost opens up you to be like already happy when you're going to listen to it, I guess, as well, if there's any intention. But often it's just, I think that shit sounds cool and looks funny.
Right. This is an Australianism that probably a lot of people listening to this podcast don't know. Off chops. That just means you're drunk as fuck or high as fuck. Basically, if someone's like really fucked up, you're like, oh, I can't off chops.
Fucking off chops, mate.
Or if something is like extremely sick, you're like, dude, that was. I guess like if a party is real sick, you're like, dude, that party was off chops.
When you think about it, if you look at it just as a what it is, it's just some fucking stinky meat off chops.
I suppose so. I don't think. Do we even call chops in America? Like a lamb chop, I suppose.
I don't know about America. Lamb chops is very much what they call it here. I don't even know if there's a chop over there. Never.
Here they have chop shops, which is, I think, like where you go to get your car unnumber plated and unVIN numbered.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that. So,
do they call like
oh, no, chop shop's a butcher. Never mind.
Because I think, oh, right. What, over there?
Oh, no, sorry. It is a place where stolen automobiles are stripped for sellable parts. I just Googled chop shop and the first thing that came up was like an Atlantan butcher. But I guess the next thing that came up, well, the next thing that came up was an automobile shop for stripping parts.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about boganus proteinus or whatever it's called, which a lot of people also wouldn't understand here. Like a bogan is it's hard to explain. I mean, people like, you try to explain it and people are like, oh, like a redneck, and you're like, no, they're very different to rednecks, but they are sort of this, they're like their own class. And there's like also a thing in Australia called a cub, which is a cashed up bogan. That's a whole different fucking thing. There's a whole subreddit.
Yeah, I mean, bogans aren't necessarily going to be people you would not associate with. You know, it's not like some other class. It's like you're just a bit bogan. It's a bit more like you're a bit more into you're a bit more into something, or something that it doesn't mean that's the sort of subculture of people you fit into or any of that. It's just it's I think it's fucking great. Whereas in New Zealand, when I grew up, bogan was probably more referencing black singlet type, black jeans, kind of go to the pub. Whereas coming here, going to the pub in Australia was like, moved to Melbourne and going to the pub was where everyone went, like it wasn't just this sort of small town thing that had the locals that turned around and looked at you when you walked in. It was like pretty fancy and good beer and good food,
Melbourne's like an anomaly though. If you look at most of Australia,
I mean, the pubs are central socializing force of some towns, right? Like that's where everyone goes. It's the only thing to do. Yeah, I don't know why it evolved into that, which now they're like the most expensive real estate in a town and serve high level meals. Like where I live, it's insane what, you go to the local pub and it's just so expensive. You wouldn't go there if you had a choice of, just going having a beer somewhere. It's a lot cheaper for us.
Yeah, Australia is really expensive, isn't it? It's like seems to have gotten extremely expensive over the years.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what for. Like, I feel like in reference to what you reckon, food and just life, like
I think housing, general cost of living. Yeah, I think the housing is more expensive. I think the food and everything is more expensive. I think in general people earn less money. I mean, at least from my experience, that was my experience with Australia. It might not be everyone's experience. So I might just be talking about the house. But in general, I feel like the amount of money I had there versus how much shit cost was way different to here. And I think it might just be because I earn way more money in America. But I don't know. I feel like here, like
it's
my
funny,
money
like
situation
America
seems a lot better.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's not like bad hidden fees or something. But, you go out for dinner in the States and then you've got that tip on the end and the tax, right? So you've got an extra however much, 15, 20, 30 bucks, who knows how much you've spent. And that's built into the fee here. So at the front, what you see is, what you get, and that might seem like the same thing. Hourly wages, I think, are probably more here in the base level, but people probably earn more at the top level over there for sure. I feel like it sort of works itself out. Like when we were doing a trip with the family, it was the first time I noticed how expensive just going out for meals were, because there was suddenly 4 of us. And if the kids got something, didn't eat it, it was like, it really you weren't just looking after yourself and knowing what you're doing. It was like suddenly there was tip and tax and things on top of that just like exploded once there was 4 people eating.
Oh, you're talking about when you brought your kids to America?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then that's okay. I see.
It was a different experience because, you know, I'd been able to keep track of it for years for myself. And, but Australia is expensive in some places. I mean, you know, there's certain things where you don't have a healthcare fee. You know, you don't need health insurance. You don't need things like that, which can be a big part of your income as well, depending where you are. You can have it for private healthcare, but a lot of people don't. Yeah, I mean, it can be expensive and it can also be a lot easier. It depends where you live too. Like around here, there's not a lot of housing because there's a lot of people would come in, and there's a lot of short-term rentals and all that kind of stuff, being a very desirable, popular coastal town and Byron Bay nearby. People are demanding paid a lot more because rent is so expensive. And then so there's not enough people to work in the restaurants and cafes. And, you know, living here is probably one of the most expensive. But yeah, I guess that's a lifestyle thing, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, definitely buying a house in Sydney, I think at this point is like you need $1 million to even get your foot in the door there.
Totally. I mean, that's where a lot of cities are heading over there too, right? Like
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's part of why I moved to Atlanta, is because you can get a house here. I mean, this house that I'm living in. Yeah, I bought this. One? Yeah, I did. It was awesome. 420 grand, so it was like not that bad at all.
It's a good number.
yeah.
That's fucking great.
A lot of cities that I was looking at when I was trying to buy a house for the same amount of square footage and bedrooms and like close to an airport and like just all the same basic shit that I have here was definitely closer to $1 million for sure.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, and it's weird that like, you know, wages have not increased and expenses have increased and house prices have exponentially increased. You know, the idea of affording a house in your lifetime for so many people is impossible. That's awesome. I love Atlanta, man. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. Have you ever watched Mr. Beast on YouTube? You know who that guy is?
I know who the guy is. I haven't watched it, no. I know who you're talking about. I know. Yeah, I've watched maybe one video in the past, whatever,
Yeah, I was just watching it last night, so it's like recent in my mind, and we're talking about houses.
Isn't he just like spending insane amounts of money on every
it's
video.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude. He has like 127 million subscribers, so he's the most subscribed channel now, I think. Maybe even more than PewDiePie. But yeah, all his videos get like hundreds of millions of views. And yeah, pretty much every video he just gives someone a house and like gives someone a Lambo, and like also it's fucking crazy. Like his last video, he was like putting Lambos in hydraulic presses and crushing them, and insane. What? Like he'll spend like $3-4 million on a video and just like basically make it back in the amount of views that he gets. But yeah,
just because of ads.
I guess so, man. I don't know. And views, because like, I mean, you have a thing on YouTube called CPM, which is like your clicks, how much you get paid per 1,000 views. Most people's CPM, I want to say, is like somewhere between $5 and $15, depending on like the standing of your YouTube channel. So if you're getting like 100 and something million views and you do the math on like $5 per 1,000 views or something like that, you know, he's making 500, I don't know, I can't do maths, but yeah, a lot of money. 5 million per video roughly or something. So he can like blow 3.5 million on a video, still make 2 million or something. He gave someone a fucking island in a video. Like someone who was just subscribed to him, he just like gave them an island. Like,
what? Bought
an island and gave him an island. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's out
what
of control.
Reality.
He's 24 as well. Exactly. It's fucking out of control.
Wow.
Yeah, YouTubing has gotten to a new level like that. Those Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Like now that Jake Paul dude's like a fucking professional fighter. He just beat Anderson Silva in a fight. Mental. Yeah,
I remember seeing that first one that he did. That's all I've watched, but thinking he was just going to get smashed because I didn't really know he could fight, but he was good.
Yeah, I guess he's doing okay now.
Yeah.
His brother Logan Paul is like, I think all about to get cancelled and shit because he's just keeps being a sus cunt around animals. Like there was that video where he walked into the forest and like videoed himself with somebody hanging in that Japanese suicide forest and almost got cancelled for that. And then put an apology out. And then there was another video of him where he just like was tasing a rat And then another video where he was just holding this fish and like dragging it through water and like I think killed the fish. And then he bought a pig and then like just basically
he's just doing all this shit to try and get attention on YouTube.
No, I think he's just like
just being a weirdo,
psychopathic dude. Yeah.
Ugh, yuck.
Anyway, tangent. What do you like more, pancakes or waffles?
Never understood waffles. Pancakes for sure.
What about the
waffles are not really
holding capability of a waffle?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, they crystallize too fast most of the time I've had them. If you're putting in like, maybe I just never had a good waffle. I never understood chicken and waffles. You know, that doesn't make sense. Sweet chickeny thing. But I probably never had a good enough one to have my mind blown. You know, pancakes are just such a staple for us here. You know, they don't. Waffles, no. Crepes are around a little bit. But yeah, the whole idea of, I think Tala, she's three, she has healthy banana oat kind of stuff, pancakes every morning nearly, and it's just like normal food, you know. But waffles are like, I think we got a waffle maker at some point with the idea that we were going to use it a lot more, but never did.
You ever had sourdough waffles?
No.
Or sourdough pancakes?
Amazing.
Yeah, they're really good. If you get a starter going, like a sourdough starter, which is basically you just get like flour and water, mix it together, just leave it sitting in a bowl for a week until it starts getting all fermented and gross. And you just keep refeeding it with new flour every day, so the yeast gets into like a cycle of like a daily cycle of growing and shrinking. And then just use that like naturally occurring yeast for your waffles. It's pretty good. They get all like they get nice and thick and fluffy, and also have that kind of like sour taste to it, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can in my mind imagine a fucking incredible one that's all puffy and epic. I need one now. You got me thinking.
Get a starter going. They're not that hard. The good thing about baking, and what I really like about it, is it's a really good effort to reward ratio. You know, like to make a starter, it's really like 30 seconds of effort, but you just have to wait for like a few days, and then you put in like another 30 seconds of effort and you wait for a few days. It's like a lot of waiting, but not much effort.
Nice. Yeah. Do you still make bread?
I do, yeah. Not as often as I used to, but I'm starting to get back into it now. Yeah, I went through, which I've talked about on this podcast already, like a pretty gnarly drug addiction thing. So like my ability to look after anything, including myself, was like not very good for the last sort of 6 to 12 months. So my starters just all died and stuff like that.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good today. Yeah. Definitely a lot better. Yeah. Been actually today, let's see.
That's awesome.
Days. Yeah. Today is actually 90 days. So 3 months.
Wow. That's fucking epic.
Yeah,
are you oh man, that's so next level. Congrats.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely is relieving to not have that constant thing in my brain just like pinging me to go like, do the thing, do the thing, do the thing. So fucking pain in the ass, man, to like wake up and be like, I don't want to do the thing, but like I have to, because I feel like I'm getting suffocated by this fucking urge, and then constantly just doing it. And I was probably going to, if I didn't get out of that hole, I think I was probably going to kill myself in the next year or something.
Oh man. Yeah.
It was rough for sure.
Yeah. Oh, fucking here's to your new adventure. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm definitely taking like a zero tolerance approach to it now. Like in my mind, I've just put a barrier up, like, cannot possibly do that again.
No.
And also I think like being really public about it as well is like giving me a new level of accountability, because if I fuck up now, it's like I look incredibly foolish to so many people. Whereas before it was like a little secretive. So I could like
hiding it,
feel like I could get away with it a little bit, you know?
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. So what are you up to for the rest of the day? Because it's pretty early there for you now still, right?
Yeah. I was actually just going to jump back into doing music. I started some music with Ashes, a really awesome dude from New Zealand. I was going to try and finish some of that. Start some new random stuff if I wasn't feeling one of those today. I've just kind of post-album, working on something for so long. Also, the insane intensity of coming back to touring after that break was not what I expected, and had a pretty decent but also pretty crazy year in my head because of that, and being really tired and missing my family and all the different things that come with it. So making music outside of that reality too is really cool. But it was really cool also to do it inside of it and use music as a emotional vent in a positive way. It's really cool. So yeah, I was going to make music. That was my plan for today, actually, make music.
Nice. Yeah, because you just did a string of shows,
sometimes
right?
that can be hard.
Yeah,
absolutely. It can be really hard just to be like, fuck, I write music today. I don't have to do anything else. Like, just that idea sometimes it's like, what? Yeah. Talk to you and make music.
Nice.
I did just do some shows, in New Zealand.
Oh, right. I thought you did some in America too recently, didn't you?
Recently, as in October, was probably the last run.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so that's a while back.
I did a lot of shows for the last year. And yeah, I mean, that last run leading up to that, learned how to run the lasers and things like that from stage and really start to create the show I've always dreamed of creating, like really being able to combine a look and a feel, but then also, do things like being able to write for an orchestra and do a show like that. And now I want to put all that shit together and make it where it's like multiple layers of musicians, multiple layers of ability to do things on stage, being able to control and fuck with the video and the music and the lasers all from stage and make it look and sound fucking epic. So that end of that tour was really, my production manager, Matt, came up with a way for doing it. It was really simple. So I could just be on an airplane and have written something new and just go and being able to create little loops that I could launch, or full song loops for laser cues, or however I want to do it for that song, and be able to play it on the fly or let it run depending on what I was doing on the drum machines or all that kind of stuff. So that last tour was like a technical adventure that worked. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, your video at Infrasound, which is I think the last time I saw you play, I think G Jones also played that night and Charles played that night as well. The video for that was fucking awesome. It was like extremely colorful, and I think from memory you told me you'd been making those in After Effects, right?
So that time I probably just started using After Effects, I think. When was that? That was what time of year was it? It was like
2021.
Oh, that's right. It was in like October or something, right?
It was, whenever Infrasound
right?
2021 was.
That was when I'd started learning it, yeah. And I had some video from a guy, Sasha, Slovenian legend, that I had edited and was just starting to learn how to really kind of create my own things as well. But now it's like got to the point where I can make a song and have an idea in my head and pretty much get that idea out visually as well, which was a big thing too, because being a control freak, you want to have a vision for it as well. Like when I can hear, I don't have synesthesia, but I definitely feel like I finish a song, close my eyes, and I can see the color and see the feeling of the visual aspect of the song.
That's chromesthesia.
And then be able to go create it.
There's
is it?
Yeah, so I found this out recently, a little while ago. Synesthesia is just when two senses connect.
Oh yeah, when you see one thing from another. Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't even necessarily need to be seeing. Like you could smell something and taste something at the same time, or smell something, hear something, and smell something, hear something, taste something.
One sense is influencing another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the one where you hear something and then see color is chromesthesia.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely happens. I used to, like, when I was the early days, like slurp and giggle days. Actually, going back to that, I reckon I remember thinking about it a while ago. Robo Booty was right at the time when I'd been making a sound and doing a thing, and the album was coming along, and I didn't have that song done, and that one came out in a day. Just had somehow the sounds fell together and everything happened because I'd already been, got my bass sound down, I got my drum sounds down, and began to put it together. But in that period of time, I would sit at the back of the room and listen to the songs, close my eyes, and if I started seeing shapes bouncing around and was not, distracted by that, by the music, and I could just get lost in that. That was when I knew the song was done. And that was kind of like this thing that would happen every time. And if I wasn't seeing those shapes, there's something up with the music, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was it usually that was up with the music?
It'd just be like a transition, or it'd be like it would go to another section and it wouldn't develop enough, or it would, you know, just feel like it's stagnated on something, or you know, it's more about that kind of stuff. For sure.
Just something that would pull you out of just the ability of being able to sit back and enjoy it and having it seem natural.
Totally.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. When it feels finished, it's like it naturally goes about its way. Yeah.
Right. It's like you've gotten out of the way of the song, and the song's just doing its thing, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's it. Like once you release music, it's not yours anymore. You know, it's everyone else's to interpret, and I feel like it feels like that once it goes away. It doesn't even look or feel the same. It's doing its thing out there. Yeah, you're just the vessel.
We're all just anomaly, low probability, organic being floating in the eternal mist of time and
joy and experience.
Yeah. Well, sick, dude.
Definitely.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was good to chat with you for a bit. Good to catch up. And when are you back in the States?
In like 4 weeks, I fly and do a couple of shows in the States, and I go to Costa Rica and do Envision. I'm back a few times already. Yeah. So 4 weeks, I'm going to just work my ass off on some new music and video and things like that.
Damn, yeah. You fly over to the States multiple times a year, don't you?
Oh, multiple. Yeah. I try not to. Like, it depends on the length of time between shows and things like that, and the style of touring, but you can't control that a lot of the time. So it's whatever. It's however I need to be there, however long, whenever. Yeah.
Do you ever consider just moving?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's a much bigger reality with family.
Oh, yeah, totally.
When you need to be pretty sure, you know, we've talked about it, absolutely, and we'd love to. We just have to figure out how. And you know, I love this life here, and I love my life there, and the kids love it there as well, and they love it here. So it's like, you know, we're in a very, very fortunate reality where we love being in both places. And yeah, you know, it's good to explore all options. You know.
Yeah, I feel like flying back and forth when I think the most times I ever did it in a year was twice, and I was like, this is too much. I couldn't handle it.
I did it 8 times last year.
Fuck that, dude. That's crazy. So fucked. Like, my lower back just fucking... my lower back is just deleted thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, there's a lot harder things to do in life. I felt like it was just becoming like getting the bus to work. You know, that's what I just sort of had to treat it like. And
you're probably flying like business and shit though, right? So it's like a little comfortable.
So I never bought business, but I would use my points to upgrade a lot of the time. And now it's a lot harder. It's a lot more expensive to buy just an okay seat. And then to be able to upgrade is even harder. So, you know, it's definitely changed. Like the whole idea of touring has changed completely. Like I feel for people who are just starting out now, you know, the idea that you used to be able to be paid $500, you know, as a support act, or, you know, as a act on a bill and things like that. And that would, you know, you'd still earn money. Now it's like you can spend that alone on flights, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Flights have gone up a lot since COVID for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm hoping it's going to level out for everyone and make it easier, to be able to still get around and everything. And, you know, people keep coming out and buying tickets to shows. And, you know, I just really want that next generation of people to come up just like stoked and inspired and have the ability to do it. That's super important. The other ones who inspire you, you see people doing shit you never thought about and you're like, fuck, that's awesome. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, man.
That's really cool. What about you? What are you doing?
Fuck, that's a good question. I mean, I'm trying to put out this remix release for Phantasmagoria, which I've been trying to do for about a year. But it's like, it seems like a constant battle. It's like people keep pulling out because they're rebranding and their remix doesn't suit their fucking vision anymore. Other people are pulling out because I've waited too long on my end, and they're like, oh, that remix is too old. I don't want to put it out anymore. there's been people pulling out, changing names, doing all sorts of shit. So at this point, everyone who pulls out, I'm just like, fuck it. I've just been VIPing the tunes myself because I'm just like, whatever. I can't be bothered reaching out to people to get new remixes and stuff. So I'm just doing it myself. Though there is one remix that I'm waiting to try and get back now. And after I get that back, hopefully that'll be ready to go. So just working on that at the moment. Plus, I got a few remixes that I'm doing. One is for Infected Mushroom.
Cool.
Another collab with Ganja that I want to finish up real soon. Yeah, a few like bigger collabs and remixes that I want to do. And then after that, the plan is to do my next Mr. Bill album, which like all the tracks are like written. Well, not written, but like the ideas are, I mean, I have like 450 whips like just sitting on my hard drive. So the tracks are absolutely there. I just need to figure out which ones.
How can you even keep track of that?
I can't, dude. It's ridiculous. I know.
No, that's insane. Are they completely different, or are they like?
So I have them
extensions from each other, or just
I have them all like folded up.
Could you put them together?
Yeah, here I'll show you. So if I share my screen, so basically like my Dropbox looks like this, and I just have all the project folders like here in different genres basically. And then if you go into like any of those, there's just like loads and loads of tracks in each genre. And then like
that's insane.
Yeah, you know, like dubstep, there'll be like a bunch of dubstep tunes, and then whatever 4/4.
Fuck, if I've got like 10 songs on the go at once, I'm like starting to get worried about finishing some. Like I always have things that I started and never finished, and I never look back at them. They just disappear. I reckon I always have like a good 10, maybe even 15 kind of on the go, and it keeps me. Are you just writing them like, fuck it, I want to do this day, or I want to do this day? Is it just completely random, or I often write like to try and fit it into my set
this
somehow.
Is like my big whips folder, and it's 342 tunes. This is just like things that I would play at shows. And then it's I think I have like a problem with just being like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this, I'm just going to do that. And I don't have like by the sounds of just chatting with you a bit, it sounds like you're a lot more like focused at being like, all right, I got like these tracks that I want to do, or this track and that vision visually for it, and like this equals this shit in a show or something like that. Whereas I'm sort of just like just throwing shit at a wall constantly, and then I don't know, eventually I'll be like, oh cool, these tracks seem like a family. But it usually happens when I leave my house and studio for like an extended period of time. So like if I go on a long trip or something for like a month, that's usually when album visions and stuff will take shape. And I think it just takes like walking away from the technical component of it to see that. But obviously I'm fortunate enough to have that experience of going away for months at a time, pretty much like on a yearly basis, if not bi-yearly basis.
And do you get response? Like I find it like playing them out. As soon as I do that, you see what works and where it sort of sits people and how it makes people respond as part of it too.
Definitely, yeah. If you're playing shows and people often are going off for like a couple of specific tracks, you're like, all right, well, those ones need to come out and be worked on and finished.
Totally.
Yeah, definitely. Or, you know, for instance, the track that played at the end of my podcast was Pleasure Seeker, and that was a track that I didn't think was finished and didn't think I'd ever finish, and that's why I put it at the end of my podcast, because I was just like, whatever, it's like a B-side track that's just a random beat. And then people asked about it so much that I was like, I should probably put that one out. And that's the one that I was telling you about that I wrote in like 45 minutes in a K-hole. That's like one of my biggest tunes now. And I don't know if it's because people kept hearing it at the end of the podcast and that's why they liked it, because of like familiarity, or if it is just a good tune. I don't know.
It's just magic though. You never know. It can just sometimes be that fucking magical split-second moment that just shit fell in place at the right time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I think that shit's cool. I think not knowing is cool too. Not knowing why, and it's forever hard to replicate or to nail that moment again.
It fucking drives me insane not knowing. Knowing what people like and why they like it it keeps me up at night for sure, because I'm like, why the fuck am I not selling out shows, and why is this shit selling out shows? You know, it fucking drives me mad. Though I think AI is going to very quickly get us out of that hole. AI is going to, I think, very quickly be able to just, I mean, it probably already can. It's just no one in music knows how to do it yet. But I think very quickly, like if we get the data that we want from companies like AEG, Spotify, etc., and just like run the right AI algorithm on it, it'll just be like, do this, this, and this, and you'll be massive. And what if AI figures out the task of like getting massive, and it goes like, oh shit, the massive thing that was doing crazy well looks like it broke 2 years ago. I better make like 1,000 different versions of it so like it doesn't break again, and just makes like 1,000 bass nectars and goes like, there you go, humans. Sorry, the one broke the other time. Like,
the AI thing is fucking crazy. I mean, there has to be a benefit to it in terms of like exploring, you know, all angles of what's possible. And it is weird thinking about like creating something that's just there to be successful, you know, like not to be creative. That's fucking nuts, you know. Creativity is like why I love doing this shit. Like it's the essence of it. It's being a kid. It's being fruity or like fun or stepping outside the boundary you're not supposed to, you know, like all that kind of shit that's like part of living. And then just doing something just to be massive. It's pretty crazy.
There's an argument though that is a form of creativity as well, right? Like if you're
to be creative about how to get massive.
Right. Like marketing people are always, you know, coming up against this and having to create like, you know, weird campaigns.
Oh, absolutely. It's all creative. Right. Yeah, like I'm not saying that's not being creative.
Like, yeah, like figuring out the most clever ways to like infiltrate people's subconscious thing to like make them feel like they need something and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get my satisfaction when I feel like the majority of what is happening inside of the music is me and all that. But yeah, there's certainly times when you want to go further or be more successful and be creative in those ways for sure. As long as the music still speaks. You know?
Do you ever make like a song and then you get to the drop and you're like, if I do this little like fake thing on the drop or like fuck with it in this way, that'll fuck with people, or do things to people's brains in this way or whatever, and like in the hopes that it will like interest people in a certain different way? Because I think that's essentially the same thing, right? It almost as being like, if I run an ad this way, it'll fuck with people's minds in this way and make them want it in a certain way. And if I run an ad this way to this ad set of people and blah, blah, blah.
Probably not more for the outcome, but more for the experience, right? Like, in a way, like you don't know what the outcome will be, whether they'll like it or not, or whether it'll make them, you know, it's more for me like thinking about a dance floor, like doing something will make people hopefully respond like this for sure. You know, you do think about that all the time.
And how is that much different how is that much different to I'll make people respond like this to an ad set and then running 50 ad sets and finding which one makes them respond more and then just digging deeper into that? Versus if you play a certain song live on the dance floor and you're like, that one worked more out of the other 50 songs I played, and then going back to the studio and digging deeper into that because of that experience that you have with people.
Yeah, that's no different. I'm not saying that there's any difference in that for sure. I mean, I feel like whatever the thing is that you do, that you're trying to get across to people and get more of it across and do all that kind of stuff. But I feel like if there's no like initial essence of you creating something and thinking, I want to do this thing and I want to, you know, enjoy that process, and then when it gets to a certain point, how can I make it more adaptable or something? I think that's my favorite part of it. It's just when you get lost in it and there is no real how's this going to be perceived or whatever. It's just like, this is fucking fun. Like you're saying, like the first version is sick and you're like, this is fucking awesome and I'm stoked, you know. That's like the pure core of it. It's sick. You don't have to think about where it's going to go or what it's going to do or how you're going to do it. It's just like, I fucking love this today.
Yeah, definitely. Like as a subjective experience to have, that is one of the better ones that we can hope to have in this human life.
Yeah, making music's fucking awesome.
It is. That was one of your latest tweets. I looked at your Twitter earlier to be like,
I
think it's like, yeah, like the third tweet down on your thing is just music is fun. Certainly is. Yeah, that's one of the things I really love about your output as well, is it's always really positive. I feel like my output all the time is like, fuck this thing. I'm like, I hate this shit. And like your output is always just like, this is sick.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you don't always feel like that. And when you don't need, if you want to, you don't have to say anything, or not you, but in general. I just feel like, most of the time I'm pretty grateful for the reality. And I've always, you know, when I was younger, it was always just going to be my hobby, and it turned into my full-time reality and something I could never even imagine, you know, and still I sort of have to pinch myself at that reality, which is grounding and nice, and to have other parts of my life too that exist to keep me. I love it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it is crazy to be able to do this for a living. I quite often think about that as well.
It's like, it's craziness.
Right. You realize exactly how crazy it is when you try to explain it to somebody who absolutely doesn't understand the like industry or anything, like an Uber driver or whatever driving you to the airport, you know, like you realize how crazy it is at that level. Or when you try to explain it to like a therapist or like a doctor or something, they're like, wait, you like, why are you having all these issues and shit? And you're like try to explain to them your job and they're like, oh yeah. And like, you just tell that they can't understand it and can't really empathize with the type of problems that come with it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's a bit of a breakthrough too, when you discover that a lot of those problems are shared by so many that do something similar, you know, like it's not just you that you're struggling with this or struggling with that, or, you know, or finding that this success should feel better, but it doesn't, you know, or the failure is, you know, constant sometimes, you know, all those kind of things. But yeah, it's a fucking weird thing to do with your life,
literally,
you know, but so rewarding and so challenging and so worthy as well. It's nuts.
I tell people all the time that one of the things that I'm most grateful for is getting off stage at Red Rocks and realizing that all of my problems still exist, because it just proves to you that like the issue is not success. Like if you can play at Red Rocks, which is like kind of the end game, in my opinion, like thing that you can do as a musician. Like, I mean, obviously you've headlined it, which is a lot different to me playing support there, but like just playing on that stage in general is like such a fucking reward. And if you can get to that level and do that and get off stage and be like, fuck, my anxiety and depression and existential threat and all of that shit is still totally present, and realize that, oh yeah, like nothing that can exist in the physical realm or any reward that I can get will ever fix that, then the true process of starting to even think about fixing it can begin, which is like, I know, total internal journey.
You've nailed something there. I 100% agree, and I've experienced it too. Like, not in terms of thinking it would solve everything for me, but getting off stage and, you know, having worked for 6 months on a show and worked my ass off, and that process was actually probably most of what, you know, the journey of it is everything. And then when it's over and you get off, and then everyone else has been filled up with the experience and they're up here and you're just like, fuck, what do I do now? You know, like it's gone. Everything's disappeared. And it's not that you don't appreciate it or you don't have any understanding of what just happened, but you need to begin again. And then, like everything that you were thinking about yesterday comes straight back. And you're right, though. It's a really good point to then be able to start and realize that achieving those things won't solve your problems.
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends who are like either just starting out in music or have been doing music for a while and are like, oh, once I achieve this, I'll be fine, sort of thing. Or once I achieve this, like my life will, like I will feel fulfilled and everything and like that. And I tell them it doesn't work that way at all. And you can't really truly believe that it won't until you've like actually experienced it, I think. Like I always inherently like
100%
knew that it wouldn't solve anything to like quote unquote make it, but once you truly do quote unquote make it and do the things that, you know, 15-year-old you watching an Incubus at Red Rocks DVD thought would solve all the problems, do get to that point and then truly fully experience it, then it's quite the experience to have. And very few people
really
I think get to experience it in that way, like to that level.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about it because I've been thinking, you know, I sort of wholeheartedly believe that, and you want to be able to talk to people when they do talk to you about starting a career and anything that you might have some sort of relationship to or knowledge of, and it is really hard to explain that exact thing, but after experiencing it, it's so much of it that I don't know what it says about it too. It just, for me, it just makes me want to continue to have those periods of time where I'm like invested in something and loving it, enjoying it, and knowing that the end of it is is not the actual doing of it. It's everything, and afterwards start again. Yeah,
that's
and
what I think too. It's
financially,
like
you can be better off, and then that's not going to solve anything either.
Right. I mean, obviously, being fundamentally financially better off is can put you in a lot of positions that will make you feel less stressed and whatnot.
It definitely, that for sure. But to sort of solve the big outlook on life, or suddenly go and buy all those things that you always wanted, you're still going to have those same internal problems after you've used them for a bit. For sure, that's a great point.
Yeah, I suppose the cool thing though about solving a lot of those problems, financial success, all that stuff, is it's almost like troubleshooting the problems in a signal chain though, right? Where you're like, all right, the preamp's fine, my RAM's fine, this port is fine. It's like you slowly get down the track and you're like, all right, well, it can only be this thing or this thing that is the issue, right? And I guess like through going through that experience of playing Red Rocks, making $1 million, doing blah, 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 you eventually can troubleshoot down to the point of like, where is the pain and where is the issue and where is this existential shit coming from, and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's kind of something to be grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. I don't even know what it is anymore. I'm so fucking grateful for so much of it. And it sounds so cliche that when you're, just saying I'm really grateful, and saying it to yourself enough actually is part of it. But to be put in the position then to be able to like go and try things out and challenge yourself in such new ways because you've achieved so many of your dreams from being a kid. Like I had this list for nearly 10 years ago, and I ticked all those things off that were such big things for me, and I kind of stopped writing the list because it kept coming up that the thing I was just dreaming of I'd be able to go do, or I'd keep working towards. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication and focus and all that. But yeah, it's amazing to be able to dream of something and go, fuck it, I'm going to try that. And you start telling people, and then it becomes like, fuck, I have to do it now, and I have to dive in, and I have to, it's how the orchestra happened. I was like, I want to do one, and, I want to do them again, and I want to, continually push that boundary, which is something I feel unexplored in this realm, try it differently, try new ways to do it, and then that'll be over and I'll be like, fuck, okay, what next, and keep going, because I don't think I'm ever going to get sick of wanting to push myself like that.
Damn. Well, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what you have next. Shape of Sound was sick, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I get to see you do a show some point this year. If you play in Atlanta, let me know. If you need a place to stay, let me know too, because I got a pretty big house now. And
fuck yeah.
It's a cool place to stay too, I think, for a producer, because like I have a whole ass like second bedroom, like a guest room that's attached to like a private bathroom and private studio. So like
wow.
Have your own.
And you're going to have
house.
A pump track, right?
I'll try. We'll see.
Get digging.
Yeah, no, fuck, man. I think I'd need to like hire a machine or something from Home Depot for that. Maybe like a little excavator or crane or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
My neighbors would be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Just trying digging a big hole in the backyard with a big machine.
Yeah. Well, here's to smashing out those dreams, and also congrats again to being your level of sobriety and that next phase, because that's huge, man.
Thanks, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. And we should write a tune that we've been talking about writing for ages. I'll send you something.
Just get going. I've got time. I've got a little bit of time at the moment between rather large projects. So, yeah.
Cool.
Send me a folder of random things.
Yeah, I'll send you a big folder of random things. No, I'll pare it down to some things.
Narrow it down a little bit. No, actually go find something that's like not really what you'd think would do, but we could do something that would be us. I'll put it like that.
So I started something,
because there's so many things, but
right before this podcast, because I remember last time I was chatting with you, you were like, house music's where it's at. And I was like, all right. So
I still enjoy doing that.
Me too, man. So like right before this podcast, I was like, I started a house thing. So I can maybe work on that if you want.
Oh, today?
Oh, whenever. I mean, no rush.
No, you started it today?
I started it literally right before this call, yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, send it over.
Yeah, I'll give you a
man, here's the smashing the fucking you just got me really inspired to like think outside the box on a few things. I'm like
good.
Yeah, I've got a lot of big projects in my mind at the moment, and I'm really trying to challenge myself with them. And just, you've kind of just tapped on something before, talking about when you're doing it and then you achieve it and then it maybe doesn't feel the same way as you thought it would, or it doesn't solve those problems or whatever. It's like, it's really about challenging yourself and enjoying that journey and appreciating every little fucking bit of it, because the end game is not necessarily what you think it'd be. It might be, but it also might not be. And yeah.
Well, the end game is like such a transient experience. It's something that lasts, like that end game that you're thinking about lasts like an hour or a month or 2 months or whatever, how long the show goes for, how long the tour goes for. But the actual process of making the music is like 99% of your time, I feel like. So it's the bulk of your life, if you're a producer, is got to be spent sitting by yourself in isolation making tunes. So you got to learn to enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, no, totally. Oh, that is the enjoyment. It's but it all builds. Like, I think that one experience or that one show or that one tour or whatever, they all build to create a life or a period of time that does give you a bit more perspective on what the whole thing is, which is a beautiful thing too. Yeah,
for sure.
Inspiring shit, man. You're awesome.
Yeah, likewise, dude. Thanks for coming on the podcast, man. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Anytime we can talk again, I'm down.
Yeah, man. Whenever you want to bounce an idea, an existential idea, or anything else, just hit me up.
Funny how it goes down that road so often. Oh, yeah. The whole thought process of what it really is.
It's almost like we're humans experiencing life.
Hey.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for listening to the Mr. Bill podcast. This show is produced and edited by Robert Fumo. You can get early access to the show by going to my website, mrbillstunes.com, and paying me instead of Patreon. And remember to go rate and review on iTunes, or I'm going to come to your house and punch your dog in the throat, upper deck your toilet, and fuck your partner. Note, I may or may not do those last couple of things. You should probably just go rate it on iTunes or Spotify or whatever it is that you listen to the podcast on, because it really helps the podcast. But just know that it'll go a long fucking way to me not doing those things if you do go do that. So just putting that out there.